Well, I just got back from my 4.5 hour drive from Missouri. Had a great hunt down there with Tyler Bellman again. Always have a great hunt every year, but just got back. It's about 7:30 at night. Only got about an hour left of light, but you know, not quite done with turkey season. Still got a little bit left here in Kansas, but it's back to Foodplot. So I'm gonna got these posts here. I'm gonna go ahead and get them measured out a little bit. Gonna cheat. Got a rangefinder with me rather than just walking them out. I'm gonna go ahead and use that for a couple, then kind of go by eyesight and just guessing. And Tyler told me to go ahead and put them around 10 yards apart, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. So we're gonna go ahead and get these ones set up. This is gonna be for the outside. It's gonna be to have the poly tape on it. So we're gonna go ahead and get these kind of spaced out, and then possibly put them in the ground before the night's over. Now that I have the outside posts spaced pretty evenly, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the ground for now. Kind of get a better visual of what it's going to look like. I'm trying to get a jump on it because starting tomorrow sometime, it's supposed to start raining, and supposed to have high chances of rain. It's supposed to rain basically the next week and a half or so. So not going to be the best time to be out here working on electric fence. So we're going to try to get everything we can done tonight and tomorrow morning. So hopefully we can beat the weather and get everything set up out here. So the main reason I'm fencing off my beans and basically fencing off the entire bean plot for the most part is simply because it's not that big of a bean plot. It's only going to be about, as far as what I can tell, what's going to make up beans is going to be about 3/4 acre bean plot. So it's not going to be a whole lot of beans out here for them. So if I just didn't do anything, or if I only fenced off half of it, you know, they'd get to the beans way too early, and I'd be left with, you know, barely a 1/4 acre, a little bit over a 1/4 acre of beans for hunting season and late season. They would just mow them down quick. I mean, so that's why I'm taking every precaution I can to hopefully get these beans a better chance to grow and flourish and do great for me, and hopefully bring some big bucks around here during deer season. So that's what we're going ahead and spend some extra money to fence it all off. Well, almost got this all set up out here. I went ahead and already got them all on the ground, and now I'm just putting on these little insulators. So I'm showing you how I'm gonna do that for these for the outside ones. These are made for the poly tape. They're a little bit bigger, as you can see. So what I'm doing here is obviously just putting it on there, screwing it on there. But the biggest thing here is the height and the way I'm facing it. For height, I'm just going about right around the kneecap height, just around the top of it. That way it leaves me some room for the poly wire on the inside to get one up here closer to the top and one a little bit below. And the reason I'm also, fix the camera for a second, and the reason too that I'm putting them this way is I got the beans on the inside here. So just like a cattle farmer and a cattle rancher, when they have their cattle on the inside, they face them towards the inside. That way the wire's running on the inside of the posts. That way it keeps the cattle on the inside. Well, since I'm trying to keep the deer out of my beans, I'm facing this towards the outside. so that way the first thing they always come in contact to is going to be with the hot wire, rather than walking right up to a post and hitting the post or knocking a post down or causing any more damage. So that's why we're facing towards the outside, and that's kind of all I'm going to get done tonight. Losing a lot of light, so I got all that done for the outside. I got one T-post in, so I'm going to have to do the other 3 corners for this, and then got to go back to Orscheln's and buy some more posts to get the inside done. But that's really all I got left to buy for this electric fence is the inside post. So we should be good there. Just do that tomorrow morning and hopefully get this finished up for the most part tomorrow morning. We should be good. Get the wire all strung out and get it all set up. So I just started noticing that some of these beans I planted last weekend, they're starting to come up a little bit. So that's a really crucial time for those beans. So we want to go ahead and make sure that they're kind of covered right now. I'll be curious to see how the deer react to it, as they love to cross straight across this open field here. So be a little bit of a change for them, but we'll see how it works. All right, well, excuse me. So far we have got all the rod posts in, got the connectors on those, and I have started putting up these corner posts. Now I'm using T-posts for that because that's where most of the tension is going to lie, is on these corner posts. So want something a lot more sturdy than just those rod ones. So we got 4 corner posts for the outside line that we're going to run. So I got T-post for that, and I think that's all I'm going to get done today. Probably be able to run the poly tape around the outside, maybe get some power to that for the time being, and then come back and get the inside square done with the poly wire. So basically just driving these to the ground. I do recommend picking yourself up one of these post drivers. It's going to save you a ton of time, effort, and most importantly, I said basically time and effort. I think I picked this up from Orscheln's for like 20 bucks, so it's definitely worth it. And that way, you know, you're getting these corner posts and rod posts and everything pretty far, you know, far enough in the ground and making it easy on yourself. So that's the big thing, wanting to make sure it's sturdy, it's not something that's going to fall down. So I definitely recommend getting one of these post drivers. So I'm going to finish this up and maybe start running that poly tape through here. Now, also one of the reasons I have this face the way it is, with the face side facing out to the east, is because this is where I'm gonna put my solar panel, and the power is gonna be all on this one. So I want it facing to where it's gonna probably get the most sun. So that's why I have it facing this way. So we'll go ahead and get that put on here, and then possibly start running that poly tape. So to show you guys what I'm going to use on these corner T-posts, I'm using these porcelain insulators here. I'm just going to be putting them around with this aluminum fencing wire here. That's what I'm going to hold them to. The reason I'm using these porcelain insulators on the quarter instead of just the plastic ones is because, like I said, the corners are going to have so much tension on them built up that, you know, it's going to really put a lot of pressure on those plastic ones, and then the heat from the fence alone could melt through it. So once again, shout out to Tyler Bellman. He's the one that recommended I use these. So I'm just going to use some fencing wire to hold it on and twist it tight, and should be able to get the poly tape wrapped around now. So we'll go ahead and start doing that. Well, we're back out here putting more posts in. Had to stop up at Orscheln to get some more. Got this bundle of 20 fiberglass 3/8 size posts I'm going to be putting in for the inside. Now the inside is going to have 2 wire strands on it. One on the top is going to be the poly tape, and the one at the bottom is going to be poly wire. Poly tape on top, on the inside, just like the outside, to kind of create more of a visual barrier for these for the deer, and then poly wire there just for extra security. And I'm going to be putting the poly tape on the top, like I said, so it's going to actually be going a little bit above the one I just put out yesterday, and then the poly wire is going to be going a little bit below. So I want to go ahead and get these posts out, get the insulators on, and we'll see how far we get today before I have to head off to work. But that's the goal. That's what we're going to do now. That way, you know, we're going to be putting them 3 feet in from this outside strand. That way it really, you know, it's really difficult for deer to get past that, and it really creates, like I said, a big visual barrier for them. When they see a strand and another strand, you know, 3 feet inside that, they're not going to quite think about going for it. If they do, they're going to get shocked, and that'll be the last time they try to get in the beans. So we're going to go ahead and try to get that set up today, or at least as far as we can, like I said, and we should be good after that. So we'll get to her. Now when I put these out, I'm not doing anything fancy. They come with this black plastic piece that just kind of covers the top, protects the top when you're using a hammer or a post driver like I'm using. So I'm putting it pretty close, only about 3 feet out from it. Nothing, I'm not using a measuring tape or anything perfect, just eyeballing it. And then with the post driver, I'm just easily putting it down in there. I'll do that for the rest of them now. So now I'm out here, about to put the insulators on. Start by putting on the wire insulator, since it's going farther down, then the poly tape a little bit closer to the top. Now, in comparison to the first poly tape we got up, we're going to want to put the poly wire just a little bit lower and the poly tape a little bit higher. I'm going to have it pretty close to the top of this, that way if deer somehow does get tangled up in this, it'll just pop right off and hopefully won't break a post or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that, then we can run the wire and get it all set up. Well, now that we got all the insulators up, I can go out and start putting the poly tape and poly wire out. So same brand, got both of them at Orscheln. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the wire since it's on the bottom, and we get the tape on, and we can hook it up to power and get her turned on, start protecting the beans. Well guys, back out here again. Finally got it finished up yesterday. I just didn't get it all filmed because I had work to get done, and I just didn't have the time to spend filming myself while I was finishing up here. Basically just wiring everything up. All I did is basically tied the two strands together in some knots here, tied them a little bit closer together, and then obviously at the tips of all three of them I burnt them off, used a propane torch, just burnt them off, and then just took all the tips, twisted them together. I mean, pretty basic stuff, and hooked them up. Put a ground post in over here that I hammered pretty far down. It's probably about at least 1.5 feet of it's in the ground, so it's getting that real deep, wet moisture, dirt down under that'll keep it really good and grounded. So you know, we should be good to go now. Everything's set up, and like I said, I can't wait to see how it works. I'm gonna probably go ahead, and I got some cameras I might go ahead and set up out here, actually looking close to the bean field, or even maybe just right down a row and see how the deer reacting to a fence out here. I don't think they've ever had one out here in the past, so be curious to see how they react, and curious to see how well it's helping my beans out.